G'day everyone, Turbo Tristan here, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back at PROFLO, Fab and Dyno, here with George. And the VL is back on the dyno. We've already done a few runs just to check out those changes. We did one at 10 pound and crept it up to 13 pound. And what do you reckon, George? How's everything going so far?
Much better. Yeah. Much better, yeah. I can tune this thing now, finally. Not chasing my ass.
We've chucked in a couple extra sensors, including the flex sensor and fuel pressure.
Correct, yeah, no, it's good. Way better setup. It's like the way that I wanted to see how far off we were from when we tuned it last time, so I left the tune as it was.
Yep.
We bottomed out the wideband sensor on the run, so we were chasing our ass big time last week. So much better now. We've got some control over it. Had to pull a ton of fuel out of it, obviously. Got that happy now. Happy days now. So now we can tune it. Fuel pressure's good. Fuel flow's good. Everything's working. So I mean, as a tuner, that's what we want. Yeah. So awesome. Happy days. Yeah. As
long as your tuner's happy, then your car's going to be happy. This 100%. Is where we ended up just on 13 psi. So 228 kilowatt or 306 horsepower at the wheels. Yeah, and we're at, I think, 15-ish?
Yeah, 14, 15 degrees.
We're around 14 or 15 degrees of timing. We're going to now do one more run on 98 and try and aim for 15 psi and a couple of extra degrees of timing. Bump that number up just a bit. We're not chasing a million kilowatts here, just on there. This is going to be like the runaround tune when you're just going for Sunday cruises. So 228 and a bit extra is going to be nice, and then it's on to E85 and we'll turn it up and send it. So we've just had a little break, let the car cool down. We're going to do a run, try and get to that 15 psi mark, just because I just picked a number out of my head for the street tune and the 98 tune, and see what she makes, switch it over to E85. How's that run, George?
Way better, man. We've hit that point now that 1-2 pounds of boost makes a world of difference. Still relatively safe, timing wise. 98, I think that's the 98 tune done. That's 15, 16 pounds. I wouldn't go more than that, really.
I'm really happy with that. The curve's perfect.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's going to be a handful on the street at that. It's a light car, and we don't have crazy rubber in the back of it, but that's exactly where I want it to be for the 98 tune. Now we'll flip it over to the Flex, chuck some E85 in.
Yeah, I think.
So we've just fired the car up on E85 for the first time. Just making a few little changes and we'll start to do some power runs in just a moment. It's already sounding more angry just from idling there, so can't wait to see what it does on the dyno. Alright everyone, so we've just come off the dyno, E85 tune. There was a bit of a hiccup, which is a risk that we knew was going to be there anyway. We're at 234 kilowatts, so technically it looks like we've lost power, but we're also not revving the car out. The poor old Jatco started to possibly slip, we believe. Everything else is perfect. The tune is actually better, George was just saying, and everything else is better. It's even much safer on E85, even though the number on the screen is a lot lower, but it's got way more torque, lower, everything else is better all over. We just can't rev it out much, and that's because it's starting to make too much torque and too much power for the Jatco. So we'll let George explain it a little bit better, but that's where I'm at.
She sounds different too. Do you notice how much she screams more?
Yeah, it's a lot angrier.
Yeah, sounds a lot angrier.
Even the idle is tougher too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's always, look, it's always better on the 85.
Life's better on the 85.
But it's not called God's juice for nothing, mate.
That's right.
Now, unfortunately, I'm actually surprised the Jatco lasted this long.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'll be honest, like even when we made 245 on 98, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But she was, I don't know if you noticed while I was tuning it on 98, there was a couple of times that this happened.
Yep.
And then it would grab, it wouldn't. And so I think it finally let go. Now with the extra torque, because I think I was showing you before, we picked up an extra 50 newton meters just low down.
Yeah, straight off the bat.
Straight off the bat. So, I mean, if it was on its last legs with the 98, picking up more torque with E85 is not going to help the situation. So, but she sounds angry, and I'm much happier with the tune.
It's going to be nicer to drive as well.
Yeah, they're always nice to drive. But yeah, she's oh, look, man, if you can find a decent box cheap enough, I'd bang it in and see how far you go. Yeah. Think about it. You got the motor there.
The motor's built for whatever.
You've got to complement it with at least a box.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone's out there and they got something that can benefit you, I'd be looking into it.
The thing is, I guess we're just done with the project. It's time to move on to other things.
Yeah, fair enough.
And just to be fair, the box is not blown up. It just
still drives.
They get to a point because they're all clutches and witchcraft inside there. They get to a certain heat and also torque, and then they'll slip. So that's what we're experiencing here. Cool. Not loading up, cruising around. The box is still going to drive just fine. Wouldn't handle any massive launches or big burnouts or 50 back-to-back dyno runs or anything like that, but
you're limited to 5200 RPM anyway. That's when she decides to let go.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yeah, I think it's just Jatco life. The engine's built for as much boost and power as you want to throw into it, within reason obviously, but everything else, the fuel system's now top notch. The engine is up there as far as builds go. The bodywork, the paint, the suspension, the brakes, all that sort of stuff's been done, except for the rear drums. We're still running those. Stock diff, spaghetti axles, and the stock Jatco. Those were the two things that I wasn't going to change and I didn't change. So those are the two limiting factors of this build so far. And we just got to see where it takes us. If we stick around with it, stick with it, or we sell the car as is. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Overall, couldn't have been more happy with the 98 tune. 245 I think it was, on only 15 psi. We have a forged engine, so 15 psi, we're only like halfway there really, as far as boost goes. But yeah, the limiting factors which we talked about. But I'm really happy with that. The car is going to drive so much better. See what the future holds for the VL project. But thanks again to George.
No worries, man.
PROFLO, Fab and Dyno. Look him up. There'll be links in the description. It's been a world of knowledge. Helped me with some ring gap figures on building the engine. So this is again why the engine worked out so well, because George's input gave me a few pro tips.
Always here to help, man. You know that.
Yeah, no, best guy for tuning, especially the Commodore / Barra turbo stuff. He's getting into jet skis, which we might have to, you know, jump on that bandwagon.
Come for a ride.
I've only been on a jet ski once, and it was the time of my life. So one with some mumbo would be awesome.
You can take my turbo one for a spin.
TT on the jet ski. Let's go. But that's going to wrap up this video. As I said, really happy. Look up George, PROFLO, Fab and Dyno. Thanks so much. Thanks to Fernando from Haltech for always helping me out when I don't understand how wiring things work. And also thanks so much to Vel from Advanced Autotronics for doing the wiring. And again, Jamie Scott from RACEWORKS. Couldn't have done it without all you guys' help. And the car is just awesome. It's such a neck snapper. Everybody loves it whenever I drive it. Grannies, mums, dads, kids, everyone's giving us the thumbs up when we're cruising along. So, you know, smiles per litre is the best in the VL wagon. Can't get enough of it.